Today's class we are going to study more about the differences between the democratic and the non-democratic regimes. Four arenas I am explaining today. First two in support of the non-democratic ones and the last two in support of the democratic ones. So where the democracy is slightly a failure in front of the non-democracy. About that 2 points I explain first. First one, the economic growth and the development. When we compare a democratic country to a non-democratic country in the terms of economic development, we can see that non-democratic governments are a slightly a higher growth rate than the democratic countries. Why this difference occurs? There are various factors which affect the economic development of a country. Which are these factors? Population is the most important thing. Size of the population. Its relation with the other countries. The global economical development. Its cooperation from other nations. All these are important for the development, economical development of a country. So when we do a comparison between democratic countries and the non-democratic countries in the terms of economical development, we are able to understand that non-democratic regimes are slightly a higher growth rate than the democratic ones. This is a fact. Next is about the inequality. Income inequalities or the poverty. When we study about the income inequalities between the democratic and non-democratic regimes, here also we are not able to see an equal level in the income in between the people of a democratical country. A very small group, a rich group, they enjoy the maximum amount of resources, or they have a good amount of income in their hands. Those who are in the bottom level, they are not having anything with them. Sometimes they find it difficult to earn their day-to-day life, to get the food and clothes and shelter and like that of things even they are suffering for. Last year in 9th class book we studied about poverty rates in India and in other countries. So these developed countries, these countries which are following the democracy, they are not satisfy the people in the matter of economical equality. Wherever some differences occurs between the rich and the poor always. This we are not able to see in the case of a non-democratical country, where the equality follows almost. But in democracy, we are able to see the political equality. Economical equality they don't have, but at the same time, they follow the political equality. All the citizens of a democratical country are considered equal voting rights to become the candidate. Everywhere else, equality provided in the case of a democratical country. This we are not able to see in a non-democratic country. So, political equality is given in a democratical country. But when it goes into economical equality, we are not able to see in a democratical country. This is the second place wherever the democracy is slightly behind the non-democratical country. Now, next we are going into two other areas. Diversity. Diversity is properly accommodated in a democratical country. Accommodation of social diversity. In a proper way, through the dialogues and discussions and debates, everyone got its own position in a democratical country. All the religious groups, all the political groups, all the people, everyone got equal practice, equal representation, equal accommodation in a democratical country. Whenever sometimes it goes into violence, sometimes it goes into problems between the people, but in a proper way democracy is able to, there is a proper mechanism in democracy to solve all these issues, even though a violent situation comes between the people. But in a non-democracy, how they are solving this issue? By suppressing this matter. They send the military, they send the police, and without asking the problems, they all of a sudden suppress everything. And people are not having any right to talk, right to discuss any matter in a non-democratical country. So diversity, accommodation of social diversity whenever we take, democracy is the best place to accommodate the social diversities. Here comes the difference between the majorities and minorities. In a democracy, normally the majority and minority, they goes together. They work together without creating any problems in the societies. Most of the cases. Majority always takes minority with them. Minority gets their own rights also, special rights also to come up in the society. And one more thing, the majority means never always it means that it is religious minority or the caste minority or like that. Every citizen in a democratic country can become the majority once in their life. Religious minority is there. Other various types of majorities are there. Different types of majorities. You can be a part of a political party even though you are minority with your caste, with your religion. You can be majority with your political party. You can be majority in the various other levels. So every citizen got a chance to become a majority in a democratic country. So here they reduce the impulse in the minds of the people that we are always minority. Not like that. Everyone get a chance to become the majority. So accommodation of social diversity is done in a proper way in a democratic country. So this is the plus point of a democratic nation. And the last point is about the citizens. Freedom of citizens is clearly given in a democratic country. The dignity and the freedom of the citizens. These two things. Are you able to get the dignity and freedom in a non-democratic country? Never. You are not going to get it. In a democratic country, they respect the dignity and freedom of yours. Especially take the case of women. They get the position from the society. Equal status. Years before, it was not like that. We were studied last year French Revolution. The women, they were not given the voting rights even. But now all the democratic countries are providing the voting rights to the women. So they are getting equal status with the men. This is a true, this is a fact. Why? Because that type of rules and regulations are made in a democratic country. So they enjoy equal status with the men. That is very much important in a democratic country. This is not possible in a non-democratic regime. When we take about the caste differences, as I already told you, the discriminated caste, the downtrodden caste, they also get equal status with the higher caste in a democratic country. Because the laws and other things, the rules and regulations are provided there in a democratic country in support of this discriminated caste and disadvantaged caste. So here also we are able to see that the dignity and the freedom are of the citizens are the passion of democracy. Now the last part of this chapter I am going into. Every time democracy faces the examinations, then only the democracy purifies. The people demand for more and more in a democratic country. When they get satisfied, they get satisfaction in one of the issue, then they will ask for more and more. If they are not able to satisfy that one, they will blame the government. So this blaming, this type of questioning is the plus point of democracy, is the success of democracy. Whenever the people criticize the government, that shows the democracy is going in a proper way. If the people are not able to criticize the government, this becomes the failure of democracy. This we have to understand clearly. If I am having the right to criticize the government as a citizen of India, I am satisfying with my democratical practices. That democracy is a success. If I am not able to criticize the government, that means democracy died on that day. So that should not be happened in the case of democracy. Wherever people should have the right to criticize the government, right to questioning the government. Okay, so here I am winding up the chapter today. Okay, thank you.